You told me once you reach 100,000 followers, you would do.
I don't know if I want my flag looking in my soul, man.
This might be controversial, but what is the worst looking flag?
The greenest grass we've ever seen. This is your sign to have the trip leave the group chat. So where we were was the closest you could get to the North Pole.
So are there northern lights as beautiful as they are in real life? I look at the menu, it says pork shawarma.
My ancestors, man, why? I would actually read ahead in the textbook.
Yo, nerd.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure I was saying not so great things either. She just casually slips it in that Haitham has no country. If you wanted to pursue a career in and then she looked at me and pointed at me.
Did you ever get called an Arab or something? All right, give me an interesting fact about Pakistan. All right, what's up, everybody? Today's guest is a Palestinian American who's amassed over 140,000 followers on TikTok. We've taken a train across the country together, and he's one of my best friends since high school. Introducing Haitham Qureshi.
Oh man, yo, I made it. This is a huge accomplishment to be on the pod. I got so excited when you asked me. I'm not gonna lie. 10 episodes in.
You're in.
Yeah.
I mean, it's officially the third or fourth, but
right.
Welcome in, dude.
Thank you. Yeah, I was listening to the one you did with Hadi, your uncle, and I've known Hadi for some time as well, and that was really entertaining. So
that's awesome.
It's honor.
Glad to have you on. We've had you also on the Strange Flavors podcast. So
yeah, man.
That was a while ago.
4 years ago, 5 years ago, 2019.
2019. Okay, that's.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that is 4 years ago. What the heck?
Yeah.
I was about to say you're dumb at math, but.
Oh man, I was questioning myself after the look too. I'm like, there's no way.
What the heck?
I'm like, man, so yeah, but I mean, pre-COVID, that's a marker now.
Yeah, pre-COVID, dude, that's insane. But I guess let's get right into it.
Yeah, let's do it.
You on TikTok, you told me once you reach 100,000 followers, you would do crack.
I plead the fifth with that.
Mama Qureshi, if you're watching this, he didn't say that.
Mama Qureshi, if I step on a crack, then I'm sorry about your back. Really sorry.
But you surpassed 100,000 followers. You're now at 140,000, 142,000.
Yes, yeah, we made it.
So you still haven't done the crack.
Still haven't. Wait, aren't you also at 140 something?
Yeah, dude. I think the last time I checked, I think I surpassed you.
I think you did.
Dude,
yeah,
that's crazy.
I was waiting for that moment. I was really excited too. I've been really enjoying all the interviews you've been doing.
Dude,
as
appreciate
well.
it. No, I mean, I remember when you first started TikTok, which was 2021.
It was,
or was it pandemic 2020?
Yeah. It was the summer of the pandemic, so about June 2020.
Oh shit! So you did start early.
Yeah. I was inspired by one of our friends, our friend Shazib.
Yeah.
Also another Pakistani creator. Really awesome.
What do you mean also? For you?
Also
for me.
Oh yeah. Just like Shamir, another Pakistani creator who's also very talented as well.
Yeah. And then you started, and then I remember seeing you just skyrocket.
It's interesting because I don't think people realize. So when you grow up, let's say you have very you could say niche hobbies or hobbies you think that people will look at you weird. It could be us watching anime and people pretending they didn't watch anime.
Yeah.
But we know you were doing a Naruto run.
Yeah.
We know.
We were doing the Naruto runs, yeah.
We know you had a scarred headband. But for me, one of the interests I had as a kid was actually my niche thing was flags and flag colors, flag designs, and geography, capitals of countries. And I forgot I was really into that until that summer of 2020.
Yeah.
And then from there, I was I remember I used to like this a lot. Why don't I talk about it? It seems like everybody has their own hobby on TikTok.
Yeah. And I think before that, you would always talk about geography, historical facts and stuff like that.
Right.
And a lot of us were dude, this is a lot. You were speaking to us and we were understand a lot of it. Sometimes we wouldn't understand. And it'd just be complex things that were happening around the world. And I think once COVID hit, everyone was like separated. So you're like, yo, I still got to like talk to somebody about this.
Exactly.
And then I think you just put it into the perfect outlet, which was like TikTok. And then there's other people that also vibe with it too.
Yeah, and that's always that's always a surprise because, you know, let's say if it's something related to flags, right? It sounds like a simple concept, but until you really dig deep, it's actually a very complex subject, and it really does impact a lot of people because that's, you know, you have entire populations that are represented by this one like colorful banner.
Yeah.
You know?
So were you always like interested in flags, or were you interested in like geography first, and then you were like, hey, this is like another section?
So I guess I can go into this in two ways, because they kind of happened around the same age, which was age 7 for me. So, you know, being a Palestinian American, I also grew up in Palestine in elementary school. And I remember we had this Arabic Cartoon Network type of channel. And in one of the commercial breaks had like a song about the Arab world and Arabic speaking countries. And they talked about their capitals and their population and so on and so forth. And so I memorized all the like Arabic countries from there. And then when I came back to the US, my parents got me an atlas because they wanted me to read. Yeah. And so of course I had to pick out the book that had a lot of colors and pictures.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's good because my parents got me like anatomy books.
Anatomy books?
Yeah, anatomies in space. They're like, yo, you're going to become a doctor. So they're like, yo, they're trying to put in my head.
That sounds very scarring.
And I didn't read any of them. I was like, oh, it's cool on the surface level, but
oh my gosh,
it's cool that you got an atlas.
Man, it was like it was really fun to you know be around that, and you know like maps. It was always cool to kind of look at them, and also with the colors and all that. But you know, many years later, it's remembering that I liked this stuff because I guess maybe I thought it was too nerdy or. That hey, I won't be able to make friends because this is nerdy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, you grow up, you start to really delve into your hobbies, especially during the pandemic. So I'm really glad I rediscovered this.
That's awesome. And how long did it take you to get from 0 to 100,000 followers?
So I started, let's say June 2020, and then I actually got to 100K right before 2022. So literally December 2021, like the last week.
Oh, wow.
It was my goal to get it before the new year.
Yeah.
And I got it the week before New Year.
Dude, that's awesome. Just going straight in, what is the best looking flag you think?
The best looking flag, so like country flag, because it can go many ways.
Yeah, country flag.
So in my opinion, well, at least my favorite, it has to be Kazakhstan, actually, in Central Asia. Because, you know, it has two simple colors, which is yellow and blue, like light blue. It has a sun, and it has an eagle, but the eagle is actually flying. It's not stationary. And on the left side of the flag, there is this really cool cultural design pattern that's based on like a golden ram's horn.
Ooh.
So I think that's really awesome.
Yeah. I think, dang, that's loud. I think that's the worst option because the best one's behind you. That's the best flag right there. Yo, he got scared.
He's looking into my soul. I don't know if I want my flag looking in my soul, man. All right. That is a good flag though. Too many colors.
Honestly, yeah. My brother gave it to me as a gift. And so like I don't like putting, you know, stuff of myself on the wall. But my mom was like, yo, he gave it to you, like, you know, so you have to put it up. So I was like, all right, fine, I'll put it up.
So you know, I guess I'll do a flag meaning video for this one.
A flag meaning video. All right. On that note, this might be controversial, but what is the worst looking flag?
The worst looking flag? Let's see. So it could go, so there's ones that are way too simple that are kind of like clones of other flags because there's so many copies and clones. So Chad's flag, is
that a white dude, Chad?
You know, I mean, Chad in Africa was being a Chad in the sense of look at Romania's flag and look at Chad's flag. It's literally Chad's flag is a slight shade different.
Okay. Could you describe it for listeners, I guess?
Okay, so basically, both flags, Romania and Chad, it's on the left side, it's blue. Then in the middle, it's yellow, and then on the right, it would be red. But the thing is, for Chad's, those same colors that are on Romania's flag are slightly like cloudier in color. But if you look at the emojis on your phone, you will not tell the difference.
Oh dang. Oh dang. I guess steering away a little bit, we traveled actually across the country on a train.
Oh yeah, we did. It's coming up on the 1 year anniversary of that.
1 year, yeah. So we literally took a train from nearby area,
Yeah,
all the way to the other side to Portland, Oregon,
man.
on the Amtrak.
On the Amtrak, 4 days, like 4 total days of just being on the train.
Yeah, and I don't think we were close to killing each other, but
Yeah, I mean, I think we were more so like I think we just wanted to jump off the train.
Yeah.
Because we were all like suffering the same.
not saying it was a bad experience. I think just being anywhere in that would have caused anybody to do that.
Yeah, pretty much. Man.
But it was wonderful. I mean, we got to see like kind of, most of the country, but like from the railroad and the dining wasn't the best, but the seating was pretty good.
It was pretty good. There was like an observation deck where there was many different seats, and the cafe, like, yeah, it's a lot of microwavable food, but it was filling, I would say, because I mean, it had a lot of calories, but it's what we needed.
Now I remember like my acne was coming out because like it was just such shit processed food.
Yeah,
but
it's like 50 grams of protein, 60 grams of fat.
Yo, this man had a burger and he was knocking on it, and you could hear the rock sound.
Oh yeah, we did a test. Yeah, the bottom bun. Yeah, the bottom bun's just weird. Like, yeah, the bottom bun was like the Earth's crust.
Yeah. But overall, I think like it's a good story to have to tell people like, yo, we traveled across the country in a train.
Yeah, like we literally saw like a bunch of different landscapes, from hills and trees like the Appalachian near West Virginia, to more flatland in the Midwest like Indiana, and later on Montana, going on to snow like Glacier National Park, onto the Pacific Northwest, where you had like in Washington State had like the greenest grass we've like ever seen. that was wonderful.
The West definitely had like more saturated colors, like literally everything. Everything was more saturated. I was like, wow, this is beautiful.
It was that like once it's crazy when you leave that Great Plains or Midwest area, how like the altitude, like the mountains and hills started to show up, and greenery again, and water. Oh man, like that kind of, for that last day, that gave us like hope, like, yo, we're about to make it. We actually did this.
Yeah. I think people are wondering like how much it costed us. And guys, you would think like it's expensive. I don't know. Maybe you guys thought it was cheap. I think most of you would think it's expensive. Bro, it was literally under $300.
Dude, guys, that one-way trip, you're talking about the one-way trip,
The
right?
one-way trip.
The one-way trip on the train was $196.
$196 to be on a train for 4 days. I mean, that's pretty good. And then we probably spent like what, 100 on food or something?
Yeah, honestly, not too bad.
Yeah.
Really, like it was way worth it. But it was like to have, to feel like you were in a movie.
Yeah,
in a sense.
It was like an experience. And our other friends, they had like a whole cabin thing. They had showers and everything. We bummed it out. We got the cheapest ticket that we could.
We did.
So we didn't shower for like 3-4 days.
Oh, I forgot about that. I forgot about that. That's tough.
Yeah.
But it was, guys, this is your sign to have the trip leave the group chat. This trip, the fact that it just like I don't know. We just agreed
Yeah.
with ease. That was good.
Well, I saw the ticket price and I was like, bro, how can I like reject this? Like, it's so cheap. And like,
Oh,
I have the
man.
time and like, I want to make content. So I was like, yo, this is perfect.
I think I was more so surprised that people agreed just
Yeah.
in general. Like, because I wanted to do a cross country trip for a while. And it was crazy how like nobody really objected right
Yeah.
away. Like no one asked too many questions.
Yeah.
It was just like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I think everyone's like just down for adventure, or at least our group. And we just saw how like easy everything was.
Right.
And like seeing the pathways, like we could have gone different pathways, but we were like, yo,
Could've.
let's end up in Portland. Like we're not going to usually go there. Portland was nice too. And
was.
you know, they had like really different hipstery vibes and stuff like that.
They did.
But yeah. We've also gone to a bunch of concerts together.
Oh yeah.
We got
have,
similar taste in music, like very niche, like YouTube music.
especially pre-COVID. Yeah.
Pre-COVID. What are some concerts we went to?
Oh man, I think so. I think we can go in order. So the first concert we ever went to was in 2016. That was Logic and G-Eazy were headlining that.
Yeah.
For Logic, since he's from Maryland, you know, from the same city as us.
We're huge Logic fans, so
Yeah, it was the Bobby Tarantino mixtape.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
yeah. And like a lot of my friends, like even though we're from here, like a lot of them don't mess with Logic as much as like Haitham does.
Yeah.
And me. So
And then right after that, we did, I'm trying to think. Oh, we saw Logic again in 2017 at the in National Harbor with Joey Badass,
yeah.
which was awesome as well.
Yeah.
We saw Brockhampton twice.
Brockhampton twice, yeah.
2018 and 2019.
I'm so shocked how you're like going in order, but go ahead. I think you're just gonna like spew them out like randomly, but go ahead.
Also in 2018, we saw 88 Rising. And you know, I really wanted to see Joji, especially, you know, growing up, you know, especially from high school and college, being a huge Filthy Frank fan.
Yeah.
It was cool to see Joji's like transition in his career
Yeah.
too.
And I wanted to see Rich Brian as well, and
Rich Brian.
all the other people as well.
And they were really good.
They were really good.
Like they were really good. And Aries, I think that was our last concert, Aries,
Aries, dude.
2019.
So sad, but that was like. That was a great small little concert.
It was.
But I think we're the oldest people there.
we were, I swear, like a bunch of high schoolers vaping.
Dude, the concert scene's so bad. Like Brockhampton and I think Aries both were like concerts where you just see like high schoolers vaping. They're like, oh my God, he cheated on me. Like, yo, shut up, bro. Like you're 14.
I'm like, just delete your Snapchat.
And then I feel like shit because I'm like, yo, I just know like a underrated artist, or I know like a, you know, an artist that hasn't been seen yet, but like high schoolers are hip or whatever. So I don't know what that says about our music taste, but
I mean, hey, the algorithm finds you.
the algorithm finds you. So you recently traveled to see the Northern Lights.
Yeah. Yeah. So I went with my friend I've been friends. If you guys know our friend Christian, he also makes music.
Youth. If you guys heard Youth,
Yeah.
he helped me make Youth. So.
If you guys heard Youth, yeah, he's on the guitar, I believe.
Yeah.
I
No,
believe.
no, he's the singer, bro.
He's the electric triangle.
Electric.
So I've been friends with Christian since 7th grade. So, you know, that's like 15 years right there. And, you know, we've only traveled nationally. So we decided on an international trip, and we wanted to go to Norway. And so Norway, you know, it's very famous for nature, especially the fjords, which are like valleys with like canals or rivers that go through them. It's beautiful, very scenic. And, you know, I had told him, hey, there's an island called Svalbard up in the Arctic Circle, and very close to the North Pole. And by the way, guys, the North Pole is actually not on land. The North Pole is actually water. I don't think people realize that.
Wait, so there's no land in the North
There's
Pole?
no land. The North Pole, if you go to the exact North Pole, you're in the ocean.
And like how big is that North Pole per se?
I mean, if you do you believe the Earth is round?
No, it's flat.
Okay, so pretty much like it'll be wide then. But yeah, like pure north. Yeah, it's in the water. It's crazy.
Wow.
So where we were was the closest you could get to the North Pole. Like it was the northernmost inhabited area on Earth.
Oh.
Yeah.
And how far was that from like the center of the North Pole?
So I would say like if I had to fly over it, I would say maybe in 2 hours, an hour, 2 hours.
Wow. So was
Yeah.
it hella cold and shit?
It was, it wasn't as cold as you would think.
Like Chicago's colder?
I felt, yeah, honestly, there are days in DC where I feel like it's colder.
Yeah.
It wasn't that windy.
DC is colder than the North Pole.
Yeah, for real. It's all a scam, guys.
Yeah.
It's all a scam. The thing is, it was also 24-hour darkness up there.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so for the next like 2 months or 3 months, it's just pure dark. So that made me really dizzy because it was like you wake up at 8 a.m., you get breakfast, you're done with breakfast. Now it's like 9 a.m., 10 a.m. It's dark outside. What is there? What is there to do?
Yeah.
Like, unless you want to just sleep.
So how many people are there? Are there like nightclubs there and stuff, or like?
No. There is, honestly, I will say the restaurants were really good.
Oh really?
The food was heavy because, to survive the winter.
Yeah.
So I had a reindeer stew.
Reindeer stew.
It was delicious.
Dude, that's Santa's deer, bro.
It was Santa's deer, and my bus driver to my hostel looked just like Santa. He had pure white hair. He was very jolly, wore suspenders, had a white beard.
Yo, that's crazy how I just came up with that, and then your driver ended up
Dude,
being Santa.
No, he was Santa. he was like so friendly.
Yeah.
Oh man. And funny enough, speaking of Santa, we also went to a coal mine and we brought back some coal with us. So,
Dang,
yeah.
what?
It all works out, right?
Yo, so Santa's real.
Santa is real.
Yo.
Saw his house.
Confirmed.
Confirmed.
So are there northern lights as beautiful as they are in real life, as they are in pictures?
So they are beautiful, but not in the same way as the pictures, because with the lighting, how I would describe it is when you look at the sky, you can tell it's not a cloud, like it's not a conventional cloud. It's kind of it is like a cluster of stars, but it's not a cloud. So if you see like white streaks in the sky with your two eyes, on your camera it'll probably appear yellow. But if it appears yellow with your eyes, it might appear green on your phone. So what you're seeing online, yeah, those are from like really nice cameras or filters, but that doesn't mean that with your own two eyes that it's not beautiful. It is beautiful, and you can definitely tell this is not like a cloud, and it's not normal stars.
So it doesn't look like it how it does in the pictures.
No, it does not.
What the heck?
Yeah, I was surprised too.
Were you bummed out, low-key, like a little bit?
At first I was like, "Where are they at?" And they're like, "Bro, look at those two lines." I'm like, "Wait, what?"
There's no way you could tell me yellow looks better than green, though.
Man, hey, like as long as you got a camera, you're good. No one's gonna know. But yeah, after watching this podcast, you're gonna know now. I'm sorry, guys.
So it's kind of a scam.
It's a scam phenomenon. So you're still seeing a phenomenon, but it's a scam too.
Okay. Interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, were you like, yo, where is it? Like,
Yeah. At first I was like, oh, where is it? But when you really focus, it is beautiful.
Yeah. Okay. What's the best place you've traveled? You've traveled here and there.
So best place I've traveled, like, is there like in a certain
Just
way?
like overall, like.
Oh man, I guess a very memorable experience I had was Japan, probably.
Okay.
There was one day so we were based in Kyoto.
Yeah.
Little history fact: Kyoto was actually the capital of Japan before Tokyo, before it was moved to Tokyo. So if you want to see a lot of culture and history in Japan, like temples, castles, Kyoto is a good base. So from Kyoto, we went to Osaka. Osaka has a very famous castle. And then we went further southwest on the island, and we went to a town called Himeji. And Himeji has the most well-preserved castle in Japan. And it's gorgeous. Like, it's pure white. The roofs are kind of like this gray. It looks very clean. It's huge. A lot of stairs. We went to this garden next to it where it had koi fish and bonsai trees. Had good food. Met some new friends from like Denmark. Then we went to Kobe, which is famous for the Kobe beef. expensive steak, and we went hiking. And it was crazy because the hike was literally behind the train station.
Oh, snap.
Like you just walk from the train station to the hike, and there's this like little waterfall.
Yeah.
And you can see the skyline of the city. So that was just like, man, that so many steps were walked that day. Our quads were rocks, but that was a beautiful, like that day as a whole was amazing.
Wow. What's the worst place you've traveled?
Worst place I've traveled to, probably Sweden.
Why?
Yeah, like so I went to Stockholm. Man, there like I felt like it was the sights to see were kind of spread out a bit. Also, I don't think people realize, like, if you zoom in on Sweden, it has a lot of islands. So around Stockholm, the capital, it's just a bunch of dots like scattered around.
Isn't that like the place with the highest quality of living? Or
I believe it's either Norway, Finland, or like Switzerland, but Sweden is probably
Sweden's
the
up
top
there?
5.
Okay.
Yeah, all the Nordic, like Scandinavian countries are like usually crack the top 10.
Yeah.
Or top 5 even.
But you didn't feel that way when you were there. You were depressed, actually.
I was depressed. It was dark. It was cold when I went. I mean,
so they're capping on the. That's
Yeah.
also a scam too.
yeah, honestly,
Northern Lights scam. The
for real.
The
Oh,
living
man.
situation scam.
Northern Europe, man. But I will say, Sweden's McDonald's does have falafel. Kind of interesting.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
How and why?
Man, you can order it with the chicken nuggets. Like
Oh,
it's you can do like a combo, I believe, or just do it separate.
Yeah.
Like that's
So you had the falafel, McDonald's falafel.
No, I refused.
Wait, why?
I was not gonna adventure.
You don't want to support the non-Arab falafel making.
Nah, man. Nah, man. I can't do that to myself. I was already pissed enough that day.
Yo, you know what's funny? We were in Portland, the Portland trip where we traveled across the country. We went to this shawarma spot, and then we look at the menu,
Gosh.
and Haytham's like, "Yo, what the fuck is that?" And I'm like, "Yo, what is it?" I look at the menu. It says pork shawarma.
Like,
Dude.
my ancestors, man. Like, why? Like, just no. They didn't even have beef as an option. It was just chicken, pork.
Pork.
Even in the Middle East, like even like in non-Muslim areas, you won't see pork shawarma.
Pork shawarma.
No.
Oh my gosh.
That was
Dude.
depressing.
So Sweden overall, just bad experience.
Yeah, not that great. It was kind of boring. Yeah.
If you could live in another country, which country would it be?
So I would pick, based on a place I've traveled to, probably Qatar.
Okay.
Like Doha, I visited Doha, and I mean, because I speak both English and Arabic, I did feel very comfortable.
Yeah, and you won't feel the racism like we do.
Yeah, exactly. I'm in a different tier.
Yeah.
According to the locals. I'm in a different class.
Yo, I feel like even if I wore like Louis Vuitton or something like that, they'd still treat me like shit.
Bro. But yeah, I mean, I just felt very comfortable there because no matter where I went, like I knew how to speak. So even if a place did not speak English, I was good still.
Yeah.
And it was just really nice. And, you know, I got to see a lot of people from my region too, like from Syria, Lebanon, Palestine, also Egypt. Like Doha was very, very diverse. Aside from all the crap and like the realities of things in these like states, it was like a really good time.
Yeah. And I heard like for people that live there, there's like so many incentives.
There is a lot of incentives, and salaries are pretty high. Even at, like, let's say if you're not like a Qatari national, I mean, depending on the industry you work, like the salary could be like pretty good if you work in like a business or let's say tech or something like that.
Yeah. Wow, that's interesting. What would be like another country, I guess, you would want to live in?
Yeah, I would probably add Singapore into that.
Oh, okay.
Singapore, it's also just like Qatar. It's very safe, very clean. I mean, the laws are very strict, so that's kind of why it's very safe and clean. Is because the punishments are like very like
they're very strict.
Yeah, very
I heard
strict.
like if you like spit your gum, they'll like cut your hand off or something.
Yeah. So if you like So I don't think you're allowed to chew gum,
You're not
but
allowed to chew gum,
but
bro.
basically like spitting gum or like leaving gum, literally polluting. If you even by accident, I would be very careful.
Dang.
Because I don't know the level, but it's like it's well known. Even on check this out. I went to Little India in Singapore, and I saw some like this clothing shop, like souvenir shop, and one of the shirts said Singapore the fine city. So you think like, oh, it's fine, like it's beautiful, and yeah, it is. But the fine city, as in fines you have to pay.
Oh.
Yeah. So it listed different punishments. Like so it was like, do this, you get like you get caned. Do this, you could get like the death penalty.
Oh shit.
Do this, you get like lashings. Like it was crazy. It was very real.
Yeah.
Also, Singapore on the trains, there will be a sign. So you know how there's no smoking signs, right? So there's this stinky fruit, very prevalent in Southeast Asia called durian. It's like this spiky fruit that if you eat it, like its smell is known to be terrible.
Is it bad?
Some people say it smells like gasoline and eggs, pretty much.
Some people love sniffing gasoline. So
Hey, I mean, gasoline in like really hot countries, it smells pretty good, I will say. But yeah, it says no durian on the train because durian really does smell. And the reason they don't want you to have it is also because they might think there's a gas leak. So they don't want to question whether there actually is a gas leak.
yeah. What's the punishment for that?
Probably a huge fine. I'm assuming like in the thousands
Oh,
of dollars. I'm assuming.
Yeah,
But yeah, Singapore, the fine city.
Do you think like that's necessary for a country to like get better?
So it's very, like a lot of very safe countries, I feel, that maybe are doing well, but like safe are also very, very strict countries.
Yeah.
So it's done well for the people that go with the flow of it and abide by it. But of course, like if that could transition into other things like stricter punishments or accidents.
Yeah.
That wrongfully being punished. Let's say.
Do you think that could happen here? Or?
I mean that definitely does happen here.
Well, I meant like
sorry.
the stricter.
No, I
enforcement.
don't think so because each state in the U.S. kind of operates like its own country,
Yeah.
and states' laws are kind of like a big foundation that still rings true in many Americans.
I feel like a lot of people they're like, "Yo, follow the law," and then like they're like, "The law is too much." Like
Yeah,
it's like,
I don't think this like change is hard for a lot of places, especially if it's a place that has like hundreds of millions of people.
yeah. I mean, there's so many different types of people.
Yeah.
That, like, but that's America.
That's America.
America.
And we got to see the different flavors of it.
Yeah. But yeah, what's your favorite U.S. state flag?
Favorite U.S. state flag, man, like with the Maryland bias, like I mean, of course, I got to go with Maryland.
Maryland, all right.
But away from my Maryland bias, because Maryland is a really cool flag,
Yeah.
Actually, Maryland is one of 4 U.S. Flags, or I should say, state flags, including D.C., which is not a state, that doesn't have the color blue in it. So the others would be New Mexico, California, and DC. So those are the only like American state flags with DC that don't have the color blue. But yeah, I would say New Mexico has a really cool flag. It has a Native American symbol on it for the Zia tribe. It's spelled Z-I-A. It's really cool.
So that's one of your favorites?
Yeah, I would say that's one of my favorites. Yeah.
Okay. I think, was it a year or two ago? You started volunteering for the Palestinian Museum in DC?
Yeah. So actually September 2020. Wow, that COVID year really did a lot, honestly.
TikTok, the museum.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh man. Yeah. So in Washington, D.C., there is a museum called Museum of the Palestinian People, or MPP. It's been open since summer 2019. It's a small museum, but it's dedicated to telling our stories, not just like of the things we face, but also our culture, history, things we like, food, language, city names. That's the thing I want to contribute to, is to show Palestinians as people too, like as people who we have a life, we have a lot of diversity, we have a really cool history, and I want to share that with people. And that's been really, really fun.
That's awesome. I think you're the perfect person for that, because you have just so much knowledge.
Appreciate it.
For like, and then like, people that come in, you're just like, yo, this, and then you can like tell them. But I'm sure there's annoying people that come in. Have there ever been like haters that come in?
Yeah. A few. I mean, there are people that like, maybe with their line of questioning, you're wondering.
Happen to be Israeli?
Surprisingly, maybe only one has, but we actually have had Israelis come to the museum.
Okay.
And surprisingly, like, they had a good time.
Oh, that's awesome.
But no, there are people, like, I think maybe students from DC who are like have a poli-sci class or something, like at Georgetown or George Washington. And maybe they're doing it for some project. But it's like sometimes you can tell with like their line of questioning that maybe they want you to say something that that wouldn't be a good idea of saying.
Yeah.
Or they want to push you to like say something really bad. But I always try to keep my composure and tell my story and tell our stories, because it's I want to make these stories colorful. We're not the news. We're storytellers. We talk about our experiences, but also a lot of beauty too, and things people don't get to hear. Even like to other Palestinians, there's a lot of stories they've never heard of. So it's a way to make them appreciate where they're from, and also just think like, wow, there's like so many centuries and millennia of like things on this like land that we're from. Many empires, faiths. Just so many really cool stories.
Yeah, 100%. I want you to tell the audience about your high school experience with your AP World History class.
AP World History class, man. Yeah, so that was junior year. So 11th grade, I decided to take AP World History. I was like, in high school, I actually did enjoy my history classes. And I was such a nerd for history that I would go above and beyond. And actually, it was so funny. I would actually read ahead in the textbook.
Yo, nerd.
Yeah.
I would not do that for any class. I don't care what class it would be. I don't think.
Yeah, dude.
Unless it was like anime class or something.
I just like really cared about it, and so like 9th grade, I had U.S. history class, and I was watching the History Channel, the military channel, like a military history channel, and I had my dad, who's like a historical figure at this point. Bless his soul. And that made like learning history like kind of nice. Like it wasn't difficult for me to absorb the info. It just really mattered with the teacher. But 11th grade, we had our AP World History teacher. Thank you. So our AP World History teacher, she did not really like shy away from, like talking smack to us. But sometimes it wasn't too clear whether the intention was joking or whether like she was serious. And so when she found out I was Palestinian, she, the next day after, she just casually slips it in that Haitham has no country.
Oh shit.
And being somebody that is Palestinian, grew up in Palestine, and have witnessed a lot of things, and my family's witnessed a lot of different things or experienced it, that at first I tried to stay strong. I tried to laugh it off, and because everybody was laughing.
So did it like hurt you, or were you like, did you know the intention, or were you like, yo, you're a teacher, you're not supposed to make jokes like that?
I didn't. So because I was also like a shy kid, I didn't quite know. I just kind of rolled with it. Hey, people be saying stuff like, I'm sure I was saying like not so great things either. And like, everybody was joking too. So I thought, it's just a one-time thing, like, something, whatever. But then like the days turned into months of it happening. And then all of a sudden, like other people in the class started to say it in the hallway to me.
Oh shit.
And I was just like, yo, like, really? Like, come on, man. Like, that's not cool. And let's see. Yeah, so it persisted for far too long until one day, should I tell you about the one day I actually like responded then?
Yeah. If you want, that's up to you.
Yeah, I'll tell you guys. So, because it was a very difficult class, there were also opportunities for bonus points. So one of the bonus point opportunities was watching a movie after school and taking a quiz on the movie. And so the movie was about Algeria's independence from France. And that's like one of the bloodiest like things that has ever happened. Algeria is actually nicknamed the land of a million martyrs. So in my head, I'm like, hey, this is a fight for independence. And, Algeria is a country that we actually really love in Palestine. So we take it personally. And so she said, hey, class, this is a movie about terrorism. And I'm like, wait, I thought this was a movie about fighting for independence. And then she said something like, if you wanted to pursue a career in terrorism, and then she looked at me and pointed at me, there's your Palestinian faction right there.
Oh,
and
fuck.
That was actually the first time the class did not laugh.
Damn.
And then I responded, when I do have my own country and when we are free, I will dance on your grave.
Damn.
Is how I responded. Either that or I like something else
Jeez.
related to her grave. Yeah.
Jeez, what was her response? Like, what did she think?
I think she smiled and got quiet, and I don't think she really did it much after that.
Damn.
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy because like teachers, like I understand like teachers like to joke around and stuff like that, and to a certain extent, but once like other kids started getting involved and like implanting in their heads like, yo, you don't have a country and stuff like that, like it's then you kind of question like, yo, is this serious? Like, is this legit? And the fact that you're a world history teacher, you're supposed to be kind of like not biased or anything.
Yeah, you're a world history teacher, and she made her biases very clear, but also I think it also hurt that some people that I called friends in high school were also kind of taking part in this. And I was just like, wait, yo, don't, after all the things I've told you, you're going to just, follow what she says.
Yeah. By the way, guys, I did not take this class, so I'm not one of them.
Yeah.
I'm not one of them.
Yeah, no, Shamir was not in the class. He did the lower level.
He did the lower level. If I was in the class, I probably would have participated. No, I'm kidding.
He probably would have.
No, I'm kidding. Haitham was one that would always like support, and I think we supported each other. Like, even though we weren't like fully friends, I think we both had mutual respect for each other. I remember there was like times in my class we had was it U.S. history?
We took government, U.S. government class.
U.S. government, and I had some issues. Not like me personally. People had issues with me, and like Haitham definitely like saw those issues with other people that I had with me.
Right.
And Haitham just never had an issue with me. So.
Yeah, man. I mean, hey, people were looking at my man's my man Shamir was just chilling, man. He was just vibing, going with the flow, like, and hey, man, people just messing with him. But I know he always proves them wrong anyway. So he let his actions speak for it. I don't gotta say anything, so he's got it.
Basically, like I was on the wrestling team, and this was like my first year. However, my teacher, she would always ask me like. She would always ask me like, hey, what's going on with wrestling today? What's happening? She would always ask me, even though there's other wrestlers in the classroom. So even though there's other wrestlers in the classroom, and then the other wrestlers, they would look and they'd be like, yo, why is she asking him? Even though they were like varsity and stuff.
They were kind of jealous. Like they shouldn't have been jealous because like these were captains.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were. The thing is, like when she said that, it's funny. Before I looked at you, I actually looked at them because I knew they would look at you. And so I was just like, yo, why are y'all so pressed over this? My man's just doing his thing. Like he's not even cocky about it. Like y'all are just like sensitive.
Yeah. I think the teacher just really like, just liked to talk to me. I think she was just really nice. And then I had beef with one of our mutual friends,
Yeah.
And then
He became a mutual later.
But like, there was another kid we had in our class that was our friend that Haitham traveled with, and we're friends with, Christian.
Yeah.
This was one of the only friends that I had beef with for a
yeah.
little bit, and then Haitham was in the middle. Like, we wouldn't communicate with each other, but we communicate through Haitham.
I was the buffer zone. Diplomat right away in the U.S. government class. How fitting.
Yeah, and it was like over some dumb shit, but it was just so funny. Like I think it was like 2 weeks or something. It was like a really long time. Yeah, especially in high school time, 2 weeks is a long time. But
2 weeks is a long time, especially when you got a cafeteria, man. Hey.
Yeah, but like I said, like Haitham and I weren't even like tight. Then.
Yeah,
like we became tight probably after high school, but
it was the year right after.
Yeah, year right after.
Right year after.
And even though he went to Virginia Tech, but and I stayed in Maryland, so
yeah,
we still kept in touch and kept close, and just even grew stronger and stronger.
Yeah,
it's been dope.
Yeah, we went to who knew that the kid who made the wrestling team in 10th grade, I would end up like, and me acting as the buffer zone of this wrestler with this other friend who's beefing. Hey, we went across the country, so it worked out.
It's crazy. And so how was like your Virginia Tech experience in a nutshell?
It was not very good. Aside from the friends I made who became my roommates, very close friends, and Shamir's actually visited a few times. There was not really many redeeming qualities of my time there.
Yo, Virginia Tech, basically, it's like a castle in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, you can smell the cow dung, I guess.
It was a nice campus, but I think
nice
like outside of the campus, there's like just not much.
Yeah, it's a college town, very farmer town, Southern Virginia. Like they have the Southern accent. Like
hell yeah, brother.
They got banana pudding and chitlins. All of that hush puppies. Like they eat that stuff. Like, I mean. It was a very different experience because growing up in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, the DMV, in Maryland, we grew up in like some of the most diverse cities in the United States. Like multiple cities in our county make the top 10 like each year of most diverse. So going to not just Virginia, the Virginia we know is Northern Virginia, but going to Southern Virginia, close to North Carolina, very different culture. Nothing bad with that. But
nothing bad. No
different.
Racists.
I mean, a few here and there. But like, hey, some of the rednecks were cool though. Yeah. Like you realize redneck is like a culture in itself. Okay. Which I vibe with that. Like that's cool.
Did you ever get called like an Arab or something?
No, actually, I never have. I did have one weird situation of racism, I guess. Yeah. So I was in a tailgate. It was my second year of college, and I was tailgating, and I'm just meeting different people. And I remember I met another person from Maryland, and we were hitting it off, talking about like the like Washington Redskins, Baltimore Ravens, like that.
Whoa, it's the Commanders, bro.
Fine,
it's the Commanders.
No, Washington football team. Washington football team. We keep that name. No Commanders. I don't acknowledge. Washington football team. I do acknowledge. Okay. It was just bonding over being from Maryland, and then he had some other friends who were from like the more like country parts of around Richmond. This guy was just like talking smack about Maryland, and we're just like, come on, man, like, is it that bad? He's like, yeah, I've been all over. And in my head, I'm like, you've been all over? And so I asked him, I was like, oh, have you been all over the world or just all over the U.S.? He's like, nah, I've been all over the U.S. If I went all around the world, I would carry a rifle and a bulletproof vest. And I'm just like, what?
Damn.
Why? And then straight up, he was like, for all the brown people.
Damn.
I was like, dog.
Was he referring to you at all, or he thought, not?
Definitely referring to me. But even if he wasn't referring to me, I still I still was like, yo, that's what the heck?
What the heck?
Like, what?
Yeah, some places are safer, than.
I'm like, bro, your Second Amendment rights don't work everywhere in the world. Hey, some people, they be packing out in the world.
Yeah.
So be careful.
That's wild. That's insane.
Yeah, that was an experience, though. That was an experience.
The authentic Southern Virginia experience.
Authentic Southern Virginia. Man.
Oh my gosh. Do you have any upcoming trips that you're planning to do?
Yeah. So in March, I'm planning on going to San Diego.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
We're talking about the world, and then you're like, "Yeah, I'm going to San Diego." Bro.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna cross.
I'm going to
over.
North Carolina. Like, what?
I mean, hey man, some U.S. states are just different countries. Yeah, do you remember when we got delayed in South Bend, Indiana?
Oh no, please don't talk about
that. Man, that's not a place.
That's not a place.
It's just like a place where they did not paint the grass green. Yeah, so probably gonna cross into Tijuana.
Okay.
And then in April, I'm actually spending 3 nights in Dubai.
Oh, nice.
Never been to Dubai before, the UAE. By the way, guys, just to let you know, Dubai is not a country. It's a city. And it's not even the capital of the country it's in.
Dang.
So just got to get that out there, just in case. And then I'm visiting family in Palestine for about a week.
Oh, it's nice.
So in May,
hype.
so that'll be cool.
That's hype. All right, you know a lot about countries. I'm just gonna ask you a bunch of facts.
Yeah, sure.
All right, give me an interesting fact about Pakistan.
An interesting fact about Pakistan. Let's see. So Pakistan is actually this is not like an uncommon thing, but countries actually do move capital cities. It's like even the U.S. has done that like many times. Pakistan's original capital was Karachi, which is, I believe, the most populated city in Pakistan.
Too populated.
Too populated. That's where his family's from and where they left.
No, a lot of them are still there, but most of them.
Well, your direct family. And so Pakistan's like located in the very south of the country. Sorry, Karachi is located in the very south of Pakistan on the coast. And so it would later be switched to a place called Rawalpindi, which is where I think the British Army and military were based when they controlled South Asia, when they controlled the Indian subcontinent. And in that time, they were building a new capital because they were going to move it again. Rawalpindi is just tentative. They moved it later to the capital you know today as Islamabad. So Islamabad's as a city, it's a pretty new city. Roughly about 50 years.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, it kind of resembles America, low-key.
Yeah. So that's what's called planned cities. For example, Washington, D.C. was built to be the capital, to not give any states preference.
Wow. Wait, so Islamabad was built just to be the capital?
Just to be the capital, yeah.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. It was a way, like, to build a new capital. It's a way to reduce congestion away because if Karachi, which is already super populated, has a bunch of government buildings, and let's say in the case that people protest against something, that's going to be even more chaos. That's the case with many countries, by the way. So having a new city, it can encourage development, investment, and new people to move in. But it could also reflect the diversity of a place like Pakistan, which has many different ethnic groups as well.
Interesting. Okay. How about give me an interesting fact about Mexico?
An interesting fact about Mexico. So I believe Mexico's full name is like the United States of Mexico, actually, or the Federated States of Mexico.
Federated States.
It might be Brazil. That might be Brazil's name. But so Mexico, an interesting thing is, so the symbol on their flag is an eagle on a cactus eating a snake. This goes back to their folklore. This goes back to like a tradition of the Mexica people, which is how you got the name Mexico. The Mexica are who you know from history class as the Aztecs, but the Mexica is like the proper term. So they're very like proud of that. And so that symbol was basically in Mexico's folklore how Mexico City, the capital, was built. That these people, by the sign of their gods, once they see an eagle like on a cactus somewhere, that'll be a sign to build their new city. And so they saw it on this huge lake. And that lake is where they ended up building a city called Tenochtitlan. And it would later be renamed to Mexico City, which is the capital today. And because of that, keep in mind, it was a lake. Very marshy. So this is also the reason Mexico City is also sinking every year as well.
Oh,
Yeah, because Mexico City is one of the biggest cities in the world by area, by population. It's very developed, but it also has a lot of people. And so when you have that much, it causes strain on the earth beneath you. So you can't really fight nature in that point. So every year it sinks a little bit.
wow.
Yeah.
Give me an interesting fact about Uganda.
Uganda. Okay. So Uganda in itself, it's one of the countries that actually has Swahili as a official language. Most countries that speak Swahili are usually in East Africa, like Tanzania, Kenya, Mozambique, but Uganda as well. I believe Uganda as well as Rwanda right below it are developing their tech sector a lot. These countries have gone through so much, but so many people in Africa are so talented, so smart. And it's nice to see where they're going and where their future is heading. And that brings me to my next point about Uganda is on their flag, they have this gray-necked crane on it, it's a bird that's like a crane and it's gray. I don't know the full name, but it actually has 1 foot up and 1 foot down. So the reason it has a foot up is it's a sign of progressing towards the future, to the next level.
Oh, dang. Not gonna lie, for a second, I'm like, yo, is this guy bullshitting me?
No, I wish.
It looks like one of those subliminal messaging, Kendrick Lamar really said this when he was
man.
Yo, the toast is just hot.
It's like 2 albums in one. You gotta listen to it backwards now. Come on, man.
That's what I thought you were doing with the flag.
No.
Give me an interesting fact about Bulgaria.
Bulgaria is believed to be the origin of yogurt, actually.
What the heck?
Yeah, so some of the best yogurt in the world.
It's not the Greeks?
Nah, man. Even though they're neighbors, I mean, they've also fought some wars with each other. But Bulgaria is also really known for roses and rose water. I think they're one of the largest distributors in the world of roses and rose water. It's very cultural, very traditional. They're very proud of the fragrances, the perfumes they have. It's very, and they have rose festivals too. It's a very long tradition, and the nature in Bulgaria is very beautiful.
That's dope. Okay, I think we have not one more continent, but one that's not the biggest ones,
sure.
I guess. But we'll go with give me a fun fact about Malaysia.
Fun fact about Malaysia. So Malaysia is made up of 2 different parts. There's a peninsula side, basically connected to Thailand. That's called the Malay Peninsula. And there's an island side attached to Indonesia. It's called Borneo. And so Malaysia in itself is many different states combined into one. And 9 out of the 13 states in Malaysia actually have their own sultan or a raja or a king.
But do they have actual power?
It's symbolic. It's constitutional. So the prime minister is the main leader of Malaysia, but each of the states has a ruler from their past, from for centuries. So they have a bloodline of royalty. So the thing is, Malaysia is the only country to do this, but they have a rotating monarchy where the different monarchs, so the 9 sultans or kings, vote between each other for who becomes the paramount ruler of Malaysia. So it's a democratic monarchy in a sense.
Okay.
Basically
like the Hunger Games. But
yeah. So basically they do a 5-year term as the ruler of all of Malaysia. And then once that 5-year term is over, the 9 leaders meet again and they vote for the next ruler from a different state of Malaysia.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So it's a rotating monarchy.
Rotating monarchy. Wow. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for coming, bro.
Thank
Hopefully
you for having
this was
me.
fun.
It was really fun.
We're actually going to continue this in the bonus episode. You guys can listen to the bonus episode or listen to episodes early on patreon.com/shimmerwally. But we're going to be playing some flag quiz games, and he's
Oh.
going to tell us more interesting facts.
All right.
And yeah, we're going to like watch some other stuff, and yeah, just join us for the fun. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank
And,
you, guys.
Keep shining. You can
Keep
follow him
shining.
everywhere at
Haithumi, HAITHOOOMI.
and yeah, thank you guys. Peace.
Keep shining, guys.